Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 517. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Going okay. Can't complain.
Nice. Good.
This week on the show, we're going to be taking a look at Things Will Be Different. Also going to be going over some of what we're watching on the watch list and this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Let's go ahead and get straight into our review. Again, we're talking about Things Will Be Different. This is out now on VOD platforms. I have a synopsis here. In order to escape police after a robbery, two estranged siblings lay low in a farmhouse that hides them away in a different time. There, they reckon with a mysterious force that pushes their familial bonds to unnatural breaking points. This is written and directed by Michael Michael Felker. Produced by Benson and Moorhead, executive produced. Aaron Moorhead has a little, or sorry, Justin Benson rather, has a little part in this as well. Kevin, we'll start with you. What were your initial impressions of Things Will Be Different?
I was really hoping that they would be, because I gotta say, I was a little bit trepidatious going into this when you gave me the list of movies. It was on there, but I gotta say, I'm kind of tired of the time loop, time travel type movie. But I was hoping that this would be different, and I think I got suckered by the Benson and Moorhead. And I don't have a whole lot to say about this movie because it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I feel like you could probably sit down and figure out some of it, but it's not interesting enough to sit down and spend any time thinking about it. It just felt like a huge waste of time.
I somewhat agree with you on this. Mostly. No, you know what? I do agree with you. Wholeheartedly, actually.
I win. Thank you.
I guess the thing that maybe I don't necessarily feel as strongly about is the time waste aspect of it. I do feel like they could have explained things a little bit more. I feel like there's too many questions that get left unanswered in this movie by the end, because there's just not. I don't think that there's a very satisfying resolution. The whole time that I was watching this, I was thinking to myself, man, this is probably going to be one of these movies where like the setup is really interesting and like the concept is cool, but they're not going to be able to stick the landing. You know, it's just one of those movies where the premise the payoff could never match the initial premise. And I think that is what happens with this movie. The way that it's set up is very, I was intrigued. I was really into it at first.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that it wasn't just like, oh, we go into this house and then go into this closet and then we're like in this kind of time, this like moment out of time or something. The fact that, you know, they have to do these very specific things in a specific order, like turning the clocks and then like turning the door handle certain ways. It's like a combination. And then that's what like triggers, and then the whole phone thing. And that's what triggers this safe house that you can stay in that's like seemingly completely out of time. And like, that's cool. I think that's a cool setup. But where it goes, I feel, is not that interesting. And maybe it's just me, but I kept like thinking that there's some metaphor at play here. And that was starting to bother me because, I mean, I don't know if there is, but what I was gathering from it was this is another movie about addiction. And it was kind of, that started to bug me because like the sister, well, both of them really, they're like drinking like crazy nonstop this whole movie. And to me, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is about, you know, a strained relationship between a brother and a sister, and you know, maybe she's an alcoholic, and what this represents is like, you know, when they get sober and they say that it's going to be different this time, and then they relapse, and the cycle starts over again. Like that's kind of the vibe that I was getting from this.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not what it is,
No,
But
but I think that that's it. You're kind of getting to my point where it's like I think you could sit down and start, feeling some things out like that. That sounds pretty good, especially with the whole kind of in the idea of like a lost weekend type thing, but it's an everyday thing for them. Like they're probably best to be away from each other.
mhm.
And yeah, like that could work, but at the same time for me is towards the end of this movie, once it starts introducing things, because they get into the safe house, right? They do the whole thing, and then it's like we just have to wait 2 weeks and then we can go back to our normal time. So we just hang out for 2 weeks. And they literally just like hang out for the 14 days, which takes up a decent chunk of the movie. And I'm just like, okay, they're not going to do anything for a while. So there's this kind of like build up in a way of like we're kind of kicking it down the road and then things are going to develop. Just hang in there. And by the time that they do develop, for me, it didn't really make a lick of sense. And just that initial, like you said, like I was intrigued by everything, the whole setup. But man, that just quickly dissipated.
Yeah, it it's unfortunate. Like I just feel like things didn't coalesce, and I don't know. I think a lot of people will be left a bit disappointed with this one. Again, like I feel like the most of the pieces were there, but just I don't know how it played out. It just yeah, it's unfortunate. Didn't really do it for me.
I would also like to say, on top of it, I didn't really like the way that this was shot at all. With like that
Yeah,
quarter, it was like only like the quarter left hand side being out of focus.
yeah, I wasn't really.
I just, I
I will.
did not like it.
I didn't really care for the look of it either. It's going for that kind of cottage core look, that the folksy look that a lot of these kind of indie mind fuck movies like to go for.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of like Benson and Moorhead stuff, really. It definitely had a bit of a Benson and Moorhead vibe to it, for sure.
Yeah, but I think that the main thing that Benson and Moorhead do that this film fails at is that like they're interesting. Like things are happening. Like like for things will be different. Like if I don't really need the whole time loop, time travel thing, whatever, out of time. I don't need it to make sense. I don't care, but I just need things to happen to kind of
Yeah.
warrant even having this.
Yeah, it is a bit of a no burn, which makes the climax or the conclusion all the more disappointing because all of that time we spent with these two characters doing almost nothing, you know, the buildup is to nothing. Like the buildup doesn't go. The buildup is not really, or the payoff is just not really there either. So, yeah, I think pretty disappointing all around. Performances serviceable, nothing fantastic. Adam David Thompson and Riley Dandy, they're
They do a
fine.
good job of holding
Yeah.
it down. It was weird though. The Adam David Thompson looks and sounds exactly like a guy that I just trained recently,
Oh yeah,
and
nice.
it was really disturbing because
He
he sounded exactly like him.
he was like really reminding me of Wyatt Russell. I was getting like really. He didn't sound like Wyatt Russell, but just his mannerisms and sort of his look was giving me a lot of the Wyatt Russell vibes. Yeah, I mean they were fine. I think that it takes a lot to carry a movie when it's just mainly just two people and that's it. And I think that they did an okay job of that. I think that Riley Dandy did a bit of a better job, but
Yeah,
they were both serviceable, I would say. But but that's really all I can say about this movie. Like the whole like thing with the song and like the kind of flashbacks that they would do with like the bokeh and stuff. Like, didn't like any of
it,
that.
yeah. They was some odd developments, I will say, like with the song, and she's kind of thinking one thing, and you're just like, what? Why? Why would that be a thing? Why would it be that person?
I also just don't understand the ending. Like, I'll just straight up say that I do not understand, like, why. I'm gonna kind of
Yeah.
skirt around it, but like,
Mhm.
I don't understand why he had such a hard time with that at the end, at the very, very end. Like,
Yes. I don't understand.
there's like one thing that you need to do or not do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
well, what is the issue here?
And then also trying to skirt around it some more. Like, yes, I fully agree with you there. I also feel like the ending's kind of a cop out because I don't understand why the powers that be would be like, yeah, okay,
Exactly.
well, all right. Like, what?
So much of it just doesn't. I just don't, and I don't think it's one of those things where it's like over my head or anything like that. I think that there's just not enough information presented in the movie, and I think that maybe the filmmakers want us to interpret some things and sort of fill in the blanks ourselves. But I don't think that it's compelling enough for us to want to do that or to theorize or have conversations around what we think is happening here. It's just, yeah, it's just unfortunate. So, anyway, that's all I have to say about things will be different. Kevin, what are you going to give this out of 10?
I give it like a 3.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm at a 4 on this one. Just it's below average for me. I just was not really feeling it. But
Yeah.
all right, if you do want to check it out, it is on VOD platforms now. Just go into it knowing that you're probably not going to get much of a payoff with it, and it's really slow.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about some more we're watching. I think it might be my turn this week.
Hit me.
I got a lot of stuff. We had the week off last week, so I have a number of things to discuss, and I'll try to slim it down and just do some highlights here. I saw The Front Room, which is directed by Max and Sam Eggers, and it's a horror movie that stars Brandy.
Brandy.
Yeah, remember Brandy?
Yeah, I remember Brandy.
Well, she stars in this movie, which is kind of interesting. I think this is an A24 movie, actually. It is, so Brandy plays a pregnant woman who moves into this house with her husband, and her husband's father passes away, and his stepmother is very old, and her health is sort of failing, and he hates her. Like, he absolutely hates her. Like, I guess she made his life an absolute nightmare when he was growing up. So he doesn't really want anything to do with her, but they're having some financial issues. And evidently, she has a ton of money stacked up. And she says, okay, look, I need my health is failing. I need somebody to take care of me. I just want to be with my family. I want to make amends and everything. I want to see my grandchild. If you let me stay with you, I will put you in my will as the sole like inheritor. So they agree to do it, and it turns out that she's like an absolute nightmare of a person. Like, she just makes their lives an absolute living hell. And the movie itself is not very good, but it's like when I was watching this, I was feeling like how I imagine you felt while watching Trap, where this movie knows exactly what it is. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. And if you go into it knowing that this is not really a horror movie per se, it's just this absolute batshit bonkers movie about this woman, this crazy old woman who is terrorizing this husband and wife. I think you can have a much greater appreciation for it because it is just it is so off the wall at times. I actually had a really good time with it. Again, not a great movie. Not very well scripted or acted. Performances are all right. Brandy's not great in it, but it is so out there and goofy that I had a pretty good time with it. So I give it a light recommend. The Front Room.
Front Room with Brandy.
Yeah.
Incredible. I watched that house by the cemetery. Fulci, 1981. Guess what this is on?
Tubi.
Tubi. You bet you. Fucking Tubi. Let me say that out of the Fulcis I've seen, because Fulci to me is very hit or miss, and this is a fucking hit.
It's so funny that you watched this, because I literally started watching this like just a few weeks ago. I didn't finish it though.
Oh man.
But I plan on it. It's not for like because I wasn't interested or anything like that. It's just circumstances.
I think you're gonna enjoy this.
I'm sure I am.
This is, I mean, out of the Fulcis that I've seen, this is up there in terms of like top tier gore effects and just the amount of gore. It's just this house by the cemetery. They move into a house by a cemetery and something just starts killing everybody. And there's fucking blood. Just an insane amount of blood. So much blood in this movie. Now, the reason that I watched this is because the synopsis ends with unaware of its bloody path and gut spraying future. So I'm pretty sure that bloody path is supposed to say bloody past.
Yeah.
It's a misquote there, but gut spraying. I didn't, it was lackluster on the gut spraying, I gotta say. I was, that really piqued my interest. I was super excited, and there wasn't that much guts spraying. Now, what does happen is there's a lot of like neck work in this, just necks getting cut, and the camera just locked on the neck. You know that they are showing off the effects work that they're doing here, because they're just like, how the fuck do you like this? It's just knives and throats. One guy gets his throat ripped out. Camera just locked on again. This movie is absolutely batshit insane, and I just can't recommend it enough. Such a good time. Just such an absolutely good time. No one makes great decisions. Everyone's dumb as hell.
I'll definitely have to finish watching this then. That's The House by the Cemetery by Lucio Fulci.
Hell yeah.
I saw one that I will heartily recommend, highly recommend, and that's To Live and Die in LA from 1985 by William Friedkin. Never saw this movie. This has been on my kind of watch list for a long time. I finally was like, you know what? I feel like a Friedkin. This feels like a Friedkin Friday.
Oh,
I don't know if it was Friday when I saw it, but I thought there'd be some fun alliteration there. Anyway, stars William Peterson as a cop. Actually, he's not a cop. He's a Secret Service agent, and he's on the trail of this forger played by Willem Dafoe, and he's getting closer and closer and closer to catching this guy, and unfortunately, it's his partner's last case. As it always is.
Oh, I bet he might fucking dies.
He does. So he goes to check out a lead, and wouldn't you know it, that Willem Dafoe and his crew are there. They kill him. So William Peterson basically just loses his shit and just goes on an absolute tear to find Willem Dafoe and take him down. And it's fantastic. I mean, you got the grimy 80s LA scene here. You got ridiculously over the top violence that, I swear to God, like what they did in this, when people get shot, like first of all, multiple people get shot in the face with shotguns in this movie. Like shotgun blasts just blowing people apart. And what they do, it's almost like they put like a paintball or something in the shotgun and then shot the person, because it looks like they're being shot with blood. Like that's how it was shot. Like they're like spraying them with blood, and it is so crazy. And John Turturro's in it as well. He plays this real kind of piece of crap mule for the counterfeit money. It's great, man. I highly recommend it. I think if you haven't seen this yet, Kevin, you will love this movie.
I slapped that bad boy right on the watch list as soon as I looked it up.
Yeah. You will absolutely love this movie. I love the way it ends. It ends in a sort of an slightly unexpected way. The ending is kind of bonkers too, but it is, man, chef's kiss. It might even be one of Friedkin's best, I think. I loved it. So, highly recommend it. Live and Die in LA.
Unbelievable. Love it. One that I don't know if I recommend this, but it's definitely something. And that's Witchery from 1988. This has David Hasselhoff, Linda
Nice.
Blair.
Oh.
Leslie Cumming plays a very odd character in this movie. So Leslie Cumming and her boyfriend, played by David Hasselhoff, go to this like rundown motel that's on this like deserted island in Massachusetts. Like this hotel's been closed, and she goes there to like get pictures and just studying like some weird stuff happened there, and it's haunted and all this stuff, whatever. So they're just kind of like there, and they're not supposed to be, right? Leslie Cummings' character is, the way that she plays it is just very bizarre. It's really difficult to explain. You just have to watch it and see it, because it feels like she's not interested in the movie at all. She's interested in playing the photographer at this motel, but everything else she's not interested in at all. It's very bizarre. But what ends up happening is this rich family that Linda Blair belongs to is interested in buying the hotel. They go out to check it out. So Leslie Cumming and David Hasselhoff are trying to hide, and then the killer, the haunted killer, gets rid of the boat. They're kind of stranded. They have to wait. And so it's just these two people, or two groups of people, trying to survive this haunted hotel. And it is ridiculous. The effects work is terrible. I mean, some of the gore is good, but they do this weird like freak out, like superimposed background, spinning camera, like when you get sucked into this like dream world thing. It looks so bad. It's terrible. But it's also kind of fun.
Yeah, and, it seems like some
also
80s fun to me.
Yeah, also Tubi. It was released as La Casa 4.
Oh, okay. The House 4.
House 4. Yeah. But it has nothing to do with that.
Well, most of the House movies don't have to do with each other, so
it's incredible. I love it.
Cool. That's Witchery from 1988.
I will also say that I don't understand anything that happened in it, which is kind of fun.
Oh, great. I saw Apartment 7A, and this is a prequel to Rosemary's Baby, which, I didn't even really know that going into this. Like, I saw some trailer or something, and they were like, before there was Rosemary's Baby, and I just kind of thought that it was like part of the marketing thing, where it's like, oh well, this just must take place in a time before that happened. But as soon as you start watching it, you quickly realize like, oh no, this is actually connected to Rosemary's Baby. It's more of a remake than a prequel, because the exact same shit happens, and it's just not as good. So it's just another one of these remakes that I feel like didn't really need to exist at all. There's a couple things that I will highlight with it, though. One is Julia Garner's performance. She is really good in this movie, despite it being a piece of shit. She is like a standout. The other thing is that the apartment that it takes place in, I like the apartment. Like it's the same. I think it's the same apartment as in the original. So I really like the interiors and stuff like that. I think that all of that looks really good. They did a good job with like the costuming and stuff too. This takes place, I think, a year before the original movie. So it's not like it's all bad, but it's mostly bad. And I don't think that you need to see it at all. Like it's just not a necessary movie.
Yeah.
Didn't need to be
Yeah.
made. We didn't need it.
Yep. That sounds about right. Oh man. Okay. The only other thing that I have is the Skeleton Key from 2005. This has
Man, I hated this movie. I'm sorry.
yeah. Yeah.
I
This is man, this was such a disappointment. I think I got suckered into like we were looking for movies and this popped up and I got hooked on spooky New Orleans.
mhm.
Like and it felt like the letterbox page was trying to tell me things. It was like, but Kevin, like it's a hospice nurse. Like it's a dark past. Like I don't think it's going to be really that spooky. It's not that well rated, but I was just like, no, it says spooky New Orleans. Like it's got to be good,
Yeah,
and it's
man.
got Gene Rollins. Like, come on, Gene doesn't do bad movies.
Ah.
But turns out, late career Gene Rollins did bad movies.
Mm.
Man, this was just, Kate Hudson goes to work for Gene Rollins and John Hurt. John Hurt just had like a stroke. She's the caretaker and quickly finds out there's some hoodoo in the house. And then just a bunch of hoodoo, some twists and turns. I will give it credit though, the ending. I did appreciate the ending because it's not your stereotypical like, oh, they figure it out and they come out on top. Nope. Everyone loses. So I appreciated that. But again, that was a bit too little too late because everything else was just kind of lackluster. The atmosphere wasn't there. It just felt like they squandered a great setting. There's just no ambiance. It wasn't spooky enough. It just wasn't creepy enough.
I don't remember much about this movie other than the fact that I did not like it at all. And I remember not liking the end. There was like a twist or something at the end, and I remember like not being into that at all.
Yeah, the twist at the end, just the whole way the end plays out is just kind of poorly executed. Just bad filmmaking all around. The way it looks, it's just the pacing of it, the performances, it's not great. It's just not great. But I do love that everyone loses, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta like that.
I need more horror movies where people lose.
Sure, you gotta like it when that happens. All right, well, that's the Skeleton Key. I saw another one that I'll mention quickly that is basically in the same vein as Apartment 7A, in that why did this need to be made? And that's the Salem's Lot remake.
Oh yeah, tell me about this.
It's not good. Like we didn't need it, Like
Yeah.
I think it was Toby Hooper did the original adaptation, and I think that was in like the late 70s that came out. This one's directed by Gary Dauberman, and it's like it's trying to capture the Stephen King essence, like the town of Salem's Lot. It feels very much like one of those Stephen King New England towns. This movie takes place in the, I want to say 60s or 70s. I can't remember. But the way that it's shot feels like kind of cheap. Like I saw somebody on Letterboxd refer to it as a Hallmark. It looked like a Hallmark movie. And it kind of does. It does kind of remind me of like one of those Hallmark Christmas movies that takes place in the small towns. But yeah, I mean, it's just a Salem's Lot remake. So if you saw the original, this is pretty much the same thing. The exception here is the end. But there's like a big set piece that happens towards the end, and it's pretty badass. Like what they do at the end is actually really cool and somewhat clever. So I will give it that. Performance wise, it's fine. Nothing to write home about here. Everybody does a decent job. Lewis Pullman is the main character, Ben Mears. I like him, and I think he's good and stuff. But yeah, it's not really worth a look, I would say. I'll rattle off a few more here. I saw VHS Beyond. This is what is it, 8th or 9th VHS movie? There's so many of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so maybe the 7th? I don't know. This one is basically all about aliens. So all of the shorts or whatever you want to call them, the segments, are in some way about aliens. So, it's kind of cool. Like every other VHS movie, they're hit or miss. Like some of the segments are absolute dog shit, and some of them are pretty decent. You have some interesting directors this time around. Justin Long directs one of them. Mike Flanagan writes one, and then Kate Siegel, his wife, directs it. So there's some interesting talent here. The wraparound segment was pretty good. It was like this sort of a mockumentary about alien footage and like is it real or not, and sort of like picking it apart and debunking it and stuff. And then like the whole premise is that there are these 3 tapes that were found that supposedly contain real proof of aliens, and what we see is what is on the tapes. And some of them are really good. There's this one that's about a group of skydivers who are like in the plane ready to jump, and an alien invasion happens while they're in the plane. And it's, I think, easily the best one. It's like one of these kind of POV GoPro types, but the stuff that they do with it is actually really interesting. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of the footage is actual skydiving footage because it looks very real, but like they're getting attacked by aliens while they're in the sky, like while they're skydiving. And it does some really interesting stuff. I will say that this is also super gory. Like this movie is out of control gory. Some of it looks really good. Some of it looks shit. A bit of a mixed bag there too. So I don't know. If you're familiar with the VHS movies, this is another one. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad. I think that the good outweighs the bad. Like most of them, I think the good outweighs the bad. But yeah, unfortunately, a couple of them are just the Justin Long one. I was really not into. But yeah, I don't know. It's on Shudder, so check it out there. I saw the Platform 2. This is on Netflix. If you're not familiar with the Platform, premise here is that it's kind of a sci-fi movie where people are held in these rooms that are stacked on top of each other, and there is a platform that travels to each floor once a day and contains food. The problem is there's nothing to stop the people from eating everyone else's food. So there's 333 floors. And if everybody ate exactly their portion, everybody would get food. But the problem is some people are, greedy and don't care about others, and they'll eat other people's shares. And most of the time, by the time it gets down to like the 50th floor, there's nothing but like scraps left. So all of the people on the lower floors end up starving, going crazy, et cetera, eating each other, that type of thing. This movie, it sort of builds on the original one in a slightly interesting way, because at first I was like, well, what are you going to do with this? Like, I felt like it was just going to be the same movie again. And it kind of is. But what they focus on in this one is more like not the platform itself and how that works, but focusing more on like the social aspect of it, meaning that the people in the facility come up with like rules and order and a way to sort of govern how things should work. And I thought that was kind of interesting because it's not really something that they got into in the first one. You know, the sort of blatant political messaging is still there here, but I think that it's told in a different way in this one. So I thought that was kind of interesting. At the end of the day, though, it's just a gross kind of sci-fi horror movie that involves some people starving, some people gorging themselves, a lot of people killing a lot of people eating each other and stuff like that. So I don't know. Light recommend maybe.
No, thanks.
Yeah. I saw What's Inside. This is directed by Greg Jardin. It's a sci-fi horror movie sort of about a group of people who are getting together on the eve of one of them getting married, and this one of their friends shows up and he has this machine that basically allows you to swap bodies with other people. So it's sort of like a body swap movie, but with like 8 people. It's like an 8-person body swap movie.
Okay.
And of course, it starts out like a fun game where it's sort of like they're playing werewolf, where they have to figure out who's in whose body and stuff like that. But then it gets a lot darker when, you know, some secrets come out and basically everybody wants to have sex with everybody else. And, you know, things take a violent turn at one point. And it's an interesting premise, but it's like, couldn't we get some more interesting people to be taking part of this experiment or using this device? Because at the end of the day, these characters are just not interesting, and I kind of hate all of them. So I don't really care what happens to any of them. But it has a really interesting look to it, and the music is kind of like the music choices are kind of interesting. So I don't know. It's a bit different. It's on Netflix, so you can check it out there. And the last thing that I'll mention is the 4:30 movie, or I guess it'd be like the 4:30 movie. This is directed by Kevin Smith. This is a coming of age comedy that is loosely based on Kevin Smith's youth, his teenage years. Takes place in 1986, and it's about this kid who he asks this girl that he really likes on a date. She agrees, and they're going to go see the 4:30 movie. And this kid is like absolutely obsessed with movies. So every week, him and his 2 friends, they go to the movies early. They buy a ticket for something that came out, and then they go see all the movies that are there. They go sneak into the other movies afterwards. And I get that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what this movie's about. It largely takes place in a movie theater, and it really, really, really wants you to know that these characters love movies, because all they talk about is movies. Like, there's just a lot of movie conversations in this, as you might expect with a Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's, you know, it's cute. It's like downright sweet at times. I think that Kevin Smith does have a knack of, you know, getting a bit nostalgic and sentimental at times, and including like some downright heartfelt moments. And this movie has some of that. It's not really funny. Like, I didn't find it to be very funny. It's certainly not as crude or crass as Kevin Smith's, you know, like Clerks or Mallrats or any of those.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's fine. It's a meh. Straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle.
Yeah, you would not like it. You would definitely hate it, because there's not a lot here. It's short. It's like, I mean, it's 88 minutes, but a lot of it's filler.
Sure. Yeah, I had a feeling that this wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it's just whatever. It's on VOD, so you can check it out there. All right, let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. Got Terrifier 3 coming out.
Oh, jeez.
That's a really interesting series. It's very popular, which is kind of surprising to me how popular the Terrifier series is.
Yeah, it is very bizarre. Because it didn't get popular later, too.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it
think
wasn't
so.
popular right off the bat.
Yeah, I think it got popular. I only saw the first one. I didn't see the second one.
Yeah, the first one was enough.
And I saw it very, very recently. Like I remember you talking about it on the show, and then just recently I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna check out this Terrifier thing. And yeah, like I have no desire to watch the second one. I think I will at some point, but yeah, I'm not that interested in the series. All right, also have Saturday Night. This is that Saturday Night Live movie.
Oh, stupid.
I heard it's not very good, unfortunately. I'm still interested in seeing it, but I think Jason Reitman directed this.
Yeah.
And it's like it takes place an hour and a half before the first episode of Saturday Night, as it was called back then.
Yeah.
I mean, the people they got to play the original cast look good. Looks like some good casting.
Not enough. Not enough.
Not enough to pique Kevin's interest.
Not enough. I could care less.
I mostly just want to watch it to find out if they make any references to National Lampoon because, you know, I'm a huge fan of OG National Lampoon, and essentially Saturday Night Live was born from National Lampoon partially.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're probably not going to.
I don't think they're gonna recognize that. We also have Brothers coming out. This is that kind of crime comedy. The Apprentice is also coming out. This is the Donald Trump one.
Jesus Christ. The state of movies. The absolute state of movies.
I know, right?
Fucking hell.
It's funny, like I was just talking to my wife about music, and I feel like music is getting good again. Like I feel like there have been a lot of really great albums and singles and things coming out this year. And like I feel like movies is pretty much the exact opposite. Like music's getting good, movies going downhill.
Going downhill real fast.
Yep. VOD this week, we got Beetlejuice. That's a pretty quick turnaround for that.
Yeah, it is.
I heard it was pretty decent. You know, I'll check it out on the old VOD. Twisters coming out also on VOD. We got Hellboy the Crooked Man. That's another really quick turnaround. I didn't hear anything about that, but I'm betting that it's probably not very good, just judging by the trailer. Let's see. What does it have on Rotten Tomatoes? 31%. Only 13 reviews on that, though.
Wow.
So not only did it not get good reviews, but not that many people even saw it. Let's see what else we have here. The Silent Hour. What is this? Oh, this is the Joel Kinnaman one. That's right. About a guy who suffers hearing loss. Action movie. Never Let Go. I'm actually interested in this one. This is the one with Halle Berry. Hard movie. Tuesday. That's the one with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Depravity. Let's see. Haunt Season. Mother, Father, Sister, Brother, Frank. What is this? Comedy? Got Mad About the Boy, the Noel Coward story. 7 Cemeteries. Bonus track. Studio One Forever. Advanced Chemistry. Ash Storm. What is this? Nonsense. When a couple of bank robbers crash their getaway car in the path of a tornado, all of the money gets sucked into the funnel cloud. 2 scientists rescue the robbers, along with a chatty influencer, and embark on an action-packed odyssey.
Oh, boy. What?
The Cash Storm. Check it out. It looks like an Asylum film or something. Time of the Witch. Got Unicorn Boy. Beneath the Fold. My Home Unknown. And Mudkey. A lefty lesbian couple and their lapdog accidentally beach their boat on a tiny remote Florida key, crashing a right-wing couple's campsite, and all must wait for the tide to come back in for them to get out.
Oh, they're not going to get along.
Nope. They're going to have some fundamental differences.
They are way too different.
Yep. Yep. Netflix this week got Uprising, got Lonely Planet, the Menendez Brothers, In Her Place, Outside, and Breaking the Silence, the Maria Soledad case. On Shudder this week, we got Daddy's Head, which I plan on checking out. It's called Daddy's Head. Hulu this week, we got Mr. Crockett, which it's a horror movie, doesn't look great, but probably check that one out too, just because we're in spooky season. Blu-ray this week. Let's see, we got A Quiet Place Day 1. I didn't talk about that on the show, but that was okay. The interesting thing about that one, and I didn't even know this, like I really didn't know anything about this going into it, except that it was a prequel, is that it takes place in New York City. So I thought that was kind of a cool, setting, because New York being such a bustling city full of sound seemed like a cool location for a quiet place, because New York is not a quiet place. And it's pretty cool. It's decent.
Interesting. I kind of forgot all about that movie.
Yeah. It's fine. Maxine is coming out. I'd recommend that. Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton one, getting a steel book. Exuma is coming out. Highly recommend that, especially going into spooky season. Definitely worth a look. Kinds of Kindness, Devil from 2010, Robot Dreams, Late Night with the Devil. I'd recommend that also. Thelma. There's a 2-pack of Get Out and Us. Not sure why you wouldn't include Nope in there. Make it a 3-fer, but whatever. Five Nights at Freddy's. Killers from 1996. Is this a Shout Factory? Looks like it might be a Shout Factory. No, Synapse Films. I'm gonna keep that open in a tab to look at later. The Subservience. That's the one with Megan Fox, where she plays like a AI robot or something.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
No.
Such garbage. That's pretty much it. What about Criterion's this week?
We got a double disc.
And
I don't know if they've done this before, honestly. They're not by the same director. It's by the same producer.
I was just gonna say, it looks like producer.
Val Luton getting a 2-fer. Produced by Val. You got I Walked with a Zombie and The Seventh Victim.
Nice.
From 1943.
I have not seen either of those two, but I'm familiar with I Walked with a Zombie. Never saw it though.
Well, they were both produced by Val Luton.
Well, there you have it.
That's their common denominator.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. And if you could, consider giving us a review on your podcast platform of choice. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.